In the fourth problem, where the system is shown by its output y of t, which actually is the response to the input x of t, is given by cos of x of t. Okay, so the output of the system is cos of x of t. Understand? So in the output there is an input. In the output there is an input, so it's very well, very obvious that this particular output is depending on the input. What value of input it is, okay, is what we are interested in. Is it a present value of input or future value of input, or it is going to be past value? So on that we can decide whether it is causal or memoryless. But if you have to decide whether the system is linear or not, okay, so in place of x of t we need to consider sum of the weighted signals. Okay, so let's check linearity first for this particular system solution. In that, the first property that we are checking is linearity. Okay, and I've told you when we look at linearity, okay, what do we consider? We consider this. In place of x of t, response to x of t is cos x of t. Okay, so cos x of t means it's like cos theta. Okay, theta is your x of t. Or you can, if it's not very clear to you, you can just say that, okay, this is cos theta types. Understand? So if the response to x of t is cos f x of t, then what is going to be the response to a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, okay, is what it is asking us. Okay, so what it would look like, the response to the input. So see, if this is the input, the output is cos x of t. If this is the input, the output is cos of a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. You just have to tell me whether these scalars are possible to be taken out from this theta. If there is some scalar here, can you take that scalar outside this theta, outside this cosine term? No, right? So these scalars, once it is there, it is part of theta, and from theta you cannot take anything out of cos. Understand? So in that sense, this can never be equal to what? A transformation on x of t, okay, plus b transformation on x2 of t. So it can never be expressed in this particular form. So once it is not possible to express this in this particular form, we can directly say that the system is non-linear. Therefore, the system is non-linear. Fine. What if you could write this as a cos x1 of t plus b cos x2 of t, then it is linear. But we cannot do this. Understand that? Since this is not possible, since the scalars are not possible to be taken out, okay, so we can say that this is a non-linear system. Everybody understand that point? Now let's move on with the second property. So what is the second property that we consider every time? The causality. C-A-U-S-A-L-I-T-Y, causality, which decides whether the system is causal or not. So when do you think a system is causal? A system is said to be causal if the system output depends on present or past or both the values of input. Understand that? But what's happening here? Since y of t, the output y of t, okay, is equal to cos x of t, okay, the output depends on, the output depends on what? Depends on what value of input is x of t? Anybody? The output is depending on past, present, or future value of x of t. It is depending on present value of x of t. So since it is depending on present value of x of t, okay, the system. So we have to continue this because we have used the, okay, the system is what? Causal. So when a system is non-causal, when the output depends on future values of input, then it is non-causal. Understand? So let's highlight the answers. So we have to give the reasoning. Fine. Now, let's move on with the third property, that is time variance. Time invariance is what they say most of the time. Okay. Time invariance. That means it does not change with time. Is what? Does it change with time or not? If it changes with time, then it is not time invariant. If it changes, then it is time. Then if it does not change, then it is time invariance. Okay, so that we need to check. Now, how is the output? See, if you transform if you shift x of t minus t naught, then response to the shifting x of t would also be reflected here. Okay, so this also this y of t, or y of t minus t naught rather, y of t minus t naught. If you are shifting, okay, the input would also shift. Because why it is possible? Why it is possible? Therefore, transformation on x of t minus t naught is actually equal to y of t minus t naught. Why this is happening? If there is another function of t, suppose, let's say this, I'll just show you. Okay, so this is possible because there is just x of t as a function of t. Or if there is any shifted signal also, it is fine. Okay, for example, see here, if transformation on, or let's say this, if y of t, let's leave this, if y of t is cos x of t u of t, means, understand this, the response to shifting x of t, why I'm doing this, the response to shifting x of t, okay, would reflect only where x of t is there. Would reflect only where x of t is there, but t in u of t is not shifted. But u of t is not shifted because we're just showing that only t is being shifted, only x of t is shifted. So only x of t is shifted, u of t is not shifted. But actually what should happen? Actually this should happen. What? Cos x of t minus t. If you are shifting time, means it should not be reflected only in x of t, it should also reflect in So shifting t means time shift means it should happen with all the functions of t, but that is not the case here. If you're shifting x of t, so that x of t shift only will be visible. Okay, why is this happening? Because there is another function of t, but there is only x of t as the function of t and no other function of t is available. So that's why it is time invariant. These two would be equal, but here these two will not be equal. If your output is this, it is time variant system. If it is this, if there is another function of time, okay. But since there is no function of t other than x of t, okay, the system is, therefore, the system is what? Time invariant. Time invariant. Understand this. Why is this happening? Because there is only x of t as function of t. There is no other function of t other than x of t. So if there is another function of t other than x of t, then it is time variant. But since that another function of t other than x of t is not here in the given system, it is time invariant. It does not vary with time. Okay, so this is just an example I gave you. Understand that? So time variance is a little tedious to present. To understand, it's not. To present it on paper, yes, you may find it a little confusing. Fine. So let's take the fourth property. What is the fourth property? Memoryless. Is your system memoryless or it has memory? How to understand that? Can you tell me by seeing this? The output is depending on what? When do we say the system has memory? We say the system has memory, okay, when it depends on past or on future values. Okay, if it is not depending on past or future values of input, or in other words, if it is only depending on present value, okay, the system is memoryless. So in that sense, what is this? So it is the output is depending only on the present value of input. It is not depending on past or future values of input. In that sense, the system has no memory. Okay. See here, since y of t is cos x of t, okay, the output depends only on present value of input. Only on present value of input. Okay. Since it is not, the output is not, it means, okay, since it is not depending on present or future values, present or future values of input.
Past or future values.
Exactly. Sorry for that. It's past or future values, not present or future. It does not depend on past or future values of input. Okay. The system is what? Time. Sorry, it's not time. It's the system is memoryless. It has no memory. It's memoryless, or in other words, what is it called as? Static. If it does not have memory, it's called as static. So this reasoning you need to give. Fine. Most of the times what they do in the exam, the students, they'll just give the list. Okay, this system is given. This is linear, time variant. They'll just give the properties. Like they'll just say something. They guess and they'll say something. So if they are answering 5 in that, maybe or 2 or 3 may get correct. Okay, by luck. Sometimes they do it. but that's not a good practice. Okay, you have to give the reasoning. So you learn reasoning. You learn reasoning, why it should be memoryless or why it should have memory. Okay, so learn this reasoning, you will have better understanding. Okay, the last one that we can have is for testing, that is stability. Stability is what? For bounded input, there should be bounded output. Bounded means if x of t is finite, the output y of t should also be finite. Understand that? So since we can write that, we should give the reasoning. Since y of t is equal to what? Cos x of t. Okay. For bounded x of t, okay, cos x of t is also bounded or not? I think it is bounded, because you just take what is the maximum value this cos theta will have. See here, we'll take cos, okay, theta if we have. So theta takes the values from where to where maximum? It takes the values from 0 to 360 degrees. Understand it? What is cos 0? Is 1. Isn't it? Then what is cos 90 degree? It's 0. Isn't it? So that is how we need to see. Whether whatever you say, the only values that we'll get throughout is it could be 1. See, the cos theta values, if you do with 0 to 360 degree, okay, if this is if theta is finite, then cos theta is also finite. How? If it takes the finite values 0 to 360 degree, the values that this can have is what? 0 or 1 or -1. Only these. Other than these three values, your cos theta will not have any other values. And your theta will not have any other values ranging, it does not lie in this particular range, 0 to 360 degree. Understand? It cannot have 500, cos 500, no. It's angle, right? So 0 to 360 degree is what it will take. Understand? So in that sense, so if x of t is bounded, cos x of t is also bounded. Okay? So the system is what? Therefore, the system is BIBO stable, we should say. What is BIBO there? Bounded input, bounded output. Fine. So this is the fourth problem that we have. Now let's move on with another problem. Okay, which is very similar to what we have done now. Very similar to what we have done. Let's do that fast. Okay, so something very similar. Fine. Problem number 5. So wherein we have y of n, a discrete system, fine, which is actually the response to x of n. Fine, and that is given by logarithm to base 10 of x of n. Okay, and they're saying that it's magnitude of x of n, which will not make much difference here. So it's like your cos x of t only. It's like your cos x of t. Understand? Now, whether this is linear or not. How did we say this is linear or non-linear? Here, from cos x of t, if there is a scalar, we cannot take that scalar outside, right? So similarly here, we cannot take the scalars if we associate. Okay, so if there is a scalar here, say in the place of x of n, we have this. That means, suppose we have what? A x1 of n plus b x2 of n. Do you think this can be written as A log to base 10 into log to base 10 of x of n plus b into log to base 10 of x2 of n. Is it possible to be written? No, it is not possible to be written. Understand? That's why the system is non-linear. It's very similar to the previous case we saw. Okay, so that again needs to be written. So I'll not write that for you now. Okay, I'll just tell you that. So this is the reason. We should just give the reasoning. Okay, so you have to give the reasoning. Okay, here I'll just say it's non-linear system. Second, I'm not giving the reasoning. Okay, I'll just discuss this so you can write it properly yourself. Okay, so you'll have a better idea. It's a non-linear. So seeing what we have done in the previous problems, you just give the justification why it is non-linear. Fine, this is the justification. You have to give it, present it properly. Let me not do every problem. Okay, now the next is what causality. Is it causal or not? Anybody, can you tell me? Is it causal or non-causal? You just open up because this is learning. So you'll make your learning better, and if you answer it correctly, that will boost your confidence. So you'll altogether be a different person. Okay, so I'm insisting. So tell me, is this system causal or non-causal? Anybody? On what value of input it is depending? It is depending on only the present value of input. It could even depend on past value for causality, for the system to be causal. A system is causal system if the output depends on present or past or both the values of input. Okay, so since it is depending on present, okay, we can say the system is causal. The system is non-causal when the output depends on future values. That's not happening here. So the system is causal. Understand that? So you give the reasoning and write this. As of now, you just take the answers. You can give the reasoning later on, justification. After causality, it is time invariance. Whether the system is time invariant or variant. Whether the system changes with time or it does not change with time. See, it does not change with time because there is only x of n as function of n. If along with x of n, you have another function of n, say u of n, or any other function, say n itself, then it would become time variant. But since there is only x of n as the function of n, we can say the system output does not vary with time. So in that sense, the system is time invariant. Fine. Fourth one. What is that? Whether the system has memory or not. Okay. So this causality and memory are very much near to each other. Okay. It is causal because it is depending on present value of input. Since it is depending only on the present value of input, since it is not depending on past or future values of inputs, the system has no memory. Understand? So therefore, the system is memoryless. Okay. So the last one, what is it? Whether it is stable or not. If x of n is a finite number, logarithm of a finite number to base 10 is also going to be finite. Okay. So you can show that by some means. X of n you can take as some number. Say log 10 to base 10 is what? Is it 1? Log 10 to base 10 is 1. Okay, so it's 1. So that means if you have a finite number, okay, so logarithm of a finite number to base 10 is also a finite number. Okay, since for the bounded input, the output is also bounded, the system is Bibo stable. Understand? So this is how we need to look at these systems. Let's go on with another system. Okay. Sixth one, you give the reasoning for this. Fine, then your understanding will be better. Now the sixth one is this y of n, which is actually the response to the input x of n is given by n into x of n. N into x of n. Is it linear or not? We shall check. Okay, because here that taking the scalars out possible or not cannot be set easily. So let's just check that linearity. Okay, so what do we consider? We consider this. Consider transformation on a x1 of n plus b x2 of n. Fine. So if input is x of n, the output is n x of n. If the input is sum of the weighted signals, then the output is n into sum of the weighted signals. Here, n into sum of the weighted signals. In place of input, you will have the sum of the weighted signals. Weighted means what? Multiplied by scalar. So x of n is a signal, ax1 of n is a weighted signal, x2 of n is a signal, bx2 of n is a weighted signal. So it is sum of the weighted signals or weighted sum of signals. Sometimes some textbooks refer to it as. Okay, so let's not get confused with the terminologies. Fine. So now, how can we write this? Rearrange it in proper way so that we can show it as linear if possible. Okay, so what we can do is this: keep a out. Okay, and this n now associates with both these signals because it is common, and it is common means it gets associated with this signal as well as this signal. Understand? So we can rearrange this as a into n x1 of n plus b into n x2 of n. If n x1 of n is response to x of n, what is n x1 of n? If n x of n is response to x of n, then n x1 of n is the response to x1 of n. So this can be written as a into what? Response to x1 of n. Okay, so this is b into response to x2 of n. Okay, since the response to the weighted signals is equal to weighted sum of the responses. Understand? Let me write that statement because I've been telling, but I've never written that. Okay, so we can say since the response to WEI weighted, okay, sum of inputs okay, weighted sum of inputs, since the response to the weighted sum of inputs is equal to what? Equal to sum of the weighted responses. Weighted responses. What are weighted responses? So these are responses. Tx1 of n is weighted response. Tx1 of n is response. So A into Tx1 of n is the weighted response. So it is sum of weighted responses. Understand? Responses. The system is linear. Understand this? This is how the reasoning should be given. So that is linearity. Fine. Next one is what? Causality. So we need not have to bother much about causality. Okay. Why? We can write it directly. So the output is depending on what value of input? It is depending, this is n. N is not the input, x of n is the input. And what is x of n? What value of input is x of n? This is present value of input. Understand? Since the output is depending on present value of input, okay, the system is causal. Okay. What is the third property? I'm not writing that. You can write that. Okay. It's quite simple analysis for causality, since it is depending on only the present value of input. Now time variance, whether it is time variant or not. See, since there is another function of n other than x of n, it is time variant. It varies with time. The output varies with time. So how to represent that? See here, how to represent that is this. Since or see here, response to shift in x of t. Sorry, not x of t, x of n rather. So let's sometimes this does not work. Yeah. The x of n, the shift in x of n is actually what? N into x of n minus n naught. The shift in x of n only reflects on x of n. But what should be the output, actual output? The actual output should be n minus n naught into x of n minus. Wherever n is there, there should be shift. But here what's happening? Wherever x is there, only there the n is getting shifted, not this value of n. And why this is happening? This is happening because there is another function of n other than x of n. Understand? So we can say this response to x of n minus n naught is actually not equal to y of n minus n naught. So therefore, what? The system is not time invariant. Not time invariant, or it varies with time, you should say. Not time invariant or time variant. Your wish. You can say any ways you want. What is the fourth one? Whether it is memoryless or has memory. So it is, since it is depending on only the present value of input, since it is not depending on past or future values of input, the system is actually memoryless. Okay, you can give the reasoning. Is it stable? Can anybody comment on stability? See, what is it? Since y of n is equal to nx of n. Okay, so n could be a what? N could be a finite number, but x of n could be a finite number. But do you think n is finite? What is n there? What is the range of n? Range of n is infinity. Understand? So say that suppose x of n is finite number. X of n is finite. Say x of n is 1. Okay. Now, therefore, y of n is equal to n into 1. What is n? What is n? Since n takes the values from minus infinity to infinity. It can take infinite value also. Okay. Y of n is unbounded. Okay. So that means, suppose x of n is finite. If we take finite value of x of n here, okay, see, that is bounded. Bounded value of x of n if we take, okay, what is going to happen? The output is unbounded. Since for bounded input, we shall write that. Therefore, for bounded input, the output is unbounded. Since the output is unbounded, the system is unstable. It's an unstable system. Or you can say it is not Bibo stable. Unstable, or you can say not Bibo stable. Understand that? Let's see this seventh problem, everybody. Okay, it has got a summation in it. The output of the system has got a summation in it, and it is summing up the shifted unit impulses. See, k ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity, and this k takes those values ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. So it is shifted values of delta n. Understand? So x of n into sum of the shifted unit impulses. Understand? So let's not bother much to see this. This is just another signal which is there along with x of n. Okay. So what is this signal? What is this signal? See here, this summation I'm just telling you, you need not have to bother much about this. What is this signal? This signal is just this. It is 1 because delta of n is 1, right? So if you go on adding the shifted impulses, mind you, this is n, okay? So it will go here till plus infinity and it will go here till minus infinity. And if this is what? This is sum of delta of n minus 2k, where k ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till infinity, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 up to infinity. So this is what is that signal. And this is being multiplied by x of n, that's it. So if you multiply this by x of n, okay, you'll get what? You'll get same x of n. Because it's everywhere 1, right? Everywhere 1. And say your x of n has 4 samples. Understand that? Say your x of n has 4 samples. Here it's n minus 2k it says, right? So if it says n minus 2k, it's not n minus k. Yeah. So n minus 2k means these values will not be there. So see this, I wrote it wrong. It's what I have sketched is n minus k. So what is n minus 2k? So you'll have only values at 0, 2, 4, 6, minus 2, minus 4. That means only at even instance of time, you will have x of n. So that means the odd instance of x of n would be eliminated. If you multiply x of n from this, since this has got ones at what? Even values of n. Okay, so odd values of x of n will all be multiplied by 0 at odd values of n here. So what would be the result of this? It would be x of n with only samples existing at even values of n. So that is how we can analyze this. So you need not have to bother much about, oh, why this signal is so big. So let's not bother much about that. And this is not even required. I just draw this, okay, just to show you that what is the signal, what it may look like. Fine. So let's not get into this. Let's not get into this. Okay. Now, is it linear? Let's check linearity. Since this is a little different, okay, I'll show you. This is little different, but see, analysis would again very much similar to what we have been doing so far. Linearity, what you would consider? Consider response to A x1 of n plus B x2 of n. Understand that? So how does this look like now? It looks like A x1 of n plus B x2 of n. Okay, so this being multiplied by this particular summation. So this is how it looks like. Fine. So see if you can arrange this in such a way that, okay, so it can be expressed as sum of the weighted responses. Fine. So keep A out and have this in x1 of n into summation. This summation again here it's associated with both the signals now. Since it is the multiplication. Okay, so this is one signal plus b into x2 of n summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity delta of n minus 2k. So don't you think this is actually what? This is actually the response to x1 of n. See, response to x of n is this, means this is response to x1 of n and this is response to x2 of n. Understand? So this can be written as a into response to x1 of n plus b into response to x2 of n. See, a and b we have taken common. We have taken out and we have applied transform on the signal. If this is possible, when you're applying transformation on this sum of the weighted signals, if you can take this A out and apply transform only on x1 of n and take this B out and apply transform only on the signal, if that is possible, then we can say the system is linear. Okay, therefore the system is linear. So very similar problem. You need to just present it properly. Okay, so let's take causality. Causality is quite simple. I'll not be doing it. I'll just give you the reason. Okay, so what's happening here, whether this is causal or not, you just have to see x of n, not any other function of n. You have to just see x of n. Is it shifted version, or is it present value of input, or past value of input, or future value of input? You have to see. Let's not bother about this. Let's only bother about the different forms of the input or different values of input. What's happening here? The output is actually depending on only the present value of input. Okay, so in that sense, the system is what? Causal. Third one. Is it time invariant or variant? How can we say that? I've been telling you, if there is another function of n other than x of n, then it would vary with time. If it is x of n is the only x of n is the only value of n, only function of n, then it is time invariant. Since there is another function of n, okay, what we can say? We can say this. See, I just present this because presenting this is not easy. Most of the time students are not happy with what we do, but this is something that we have to do mathematically. Okay, response to shift in n minus n naught is reflected as this. What is that? x1 of n minus n naught. But this shift in x, okay, will not be reflected in delta of n minus 2k. So n is not shifted here in delta function. It just got shifted in here. But what should be the actual output? What should be the actual output? X of n minus n naught. It's not only the shift in x1, but there should also, it's not x1 rather, it's x. Okay. So this is not supposed to be there. Fine. So actually, wherever there is n, that should get shifted. That means delta of n minus n naught minus 2k. This is how it should happen. Okay. But that didn't happen. Why that didn't happen? Because there's another function of n other than x of n. Understand that? So therefore, since these two are not equal, okay, it's not equal to y of n minus n naught, the actual output. Okay, the system is not time invariant. Okay, so this is how we see this what time variance or invariance. Okay, so next what we need to see memory, whether the system is memory or memory has memory or no has no memory. See, it is depending only on present value of input. It is not depending on past or future values of input. So in that sense, what we can say, the system is memoryless. The system is memoryless. You can give these reasons in the exam, or you can when you are writing it, okay, practice it by giving reasons. Okay, it's memoryless or static. Why it is memoryless or static? Because the output is depending only on the present value of input. It's not depending on past or future values of input. Is the system Bibo stable? That means if x of n is, now this plot will be of help. If x of n is finite value into 1, don't you think that is finite? What is this? I told you this is, let me just show you that again. Okay, you have x of n into k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, delta of n minus 2k. What is this? What is this? It is just this 0, 2, or this we shall write first, up to minus infinity, up to plus infinity. If this is 0, this is 2, 4, 6, minus 2, minus 4, minus 6. Okay, so that is the summation. So you're multiplying this by x of n. So what would be the change? Here, you will only have, what will be the only change? Let's say this is finite. Okay, let me say it's unbounded or bounded. If this is bounded, okay, then the multiplication of bounded signal. Okay. See, if x of n is a bounded signal, then multiplication of bounded signal along with these ones is what? Is also bounded. So you do not have to show this. You need not have to show all this. Just say that since for bounded x of n, okay, y of n is also bounded. Okay, the system is what? Bibo stable. The system is Bibo stable. So I've just given you the justification here. Okay, so, but this is not a very good presentation of what we have done. Okay, what we have understood. So what you can say, just for your understanding. Okay, show this. If this is x of n, so this if you write this, it's actually an advantage, but present it properly. This is your output. Okay, this is your output, y of n. Okay, wherein x of n is being multiplied by these ones, which is summation delta of n minus 2k. where k is ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, but this is a finite value. These are all ones at n equal to even numbers. Okay, so if you multiply by this, you'll again find x of n, but with odd values of x of n omitted. You'll only have even samples of x of n. So if x of n is finite, having even samples of x of n would also be the finite signal, finite output. Okay, that's why it is bounded output. So for bounded input, we have bounded output. So therefore, the system is Bibo stable. Understand that? Now, let's see this as the last problem. I'll just tell you fast. Okay, so let's take that. Okay, the eighth problem. Here, it will have multiple answers depending on the value of n. That means it's conditional. You cannot just say it is causal. It is causal if n is this. It is non-causal if n is this, is what needs to be understood here. X of k plus 2 is given. Or sorry, this is not infinity. There is n here. There is n here. So this is the signal. Now, where this value of n is, everybody just understand where this value of n is, okay, decides the value that n assumes will decide whether this is causal or non-causal, whether this has memory or no memory. Okay, as far as the linearity is concerned, it's fine. It's linear system, because if you multiply, if you have scalars here, that scalars can be easily taken out of this summation. Okay, so in that sense, this would be a scalar. This would be a linear system. Okay, but this is challenging when you have to decide whether this is causal or non-causal. Understand that? Okay, see, this k goes from minus infinity to plus n. Okay, so this n, it is going from minus infinity, mind you. It's going from minus infinity. Fine. Now, this system, okay, will take the negative values. Will have this k will take the negative. If the negative values are there, say k is minus 10. K is minus 10. So what would be? It would be x of minus 10 plus 2. So it would be what? X of minus 8. So response to x of n is giving us x of minus 8. X of minus 8 is future value. So that means if n takes the values, negative values, okay, then it is what? Non-causal. If n takes the values, positive values rather, or till minus 2. See, if n takes the values, see here, let me write that. If n takes the values from minus 2 to plus infinity, okay, the system is causal. If n takes the values from minus infinity to minus 3, the system is non-causal. Can you just tell me how? Let me just leave it here. You can just analyze from here on. Can you tell me why I'm giving you this? This is linear system, you can try. So this is going to be linear system. So second one is conditional. If n takes the values from minus 2 to infinity, okay, see here, if this n here, upper limit, takes the value from minus, what is this? Minus infinity to minus 2 rather. Minus infinity to, or yeah, minus 2 to minus infinity. Just take this as if it goes from minus infinity to minus 3, what happens? If this is minus 3, what? So you will find x of minus 1. If this is minus 3, if k is minus 3, you will find x of minus 1. So you'll have negative. Understand? So if this is minus 2, you will have x of 0. Fine. If you have minus 1, it is x of 1. That's why from minus 2 to infinity, it depends on present value and past values. Okay. But from minus infinity to minus 3, it only depends on future values. Understand that? I think this problem has multiple approaches. That means it's conditional. You have to put the condition to say whether this is causal or not. So this is one thing that you can analyze. Okay, I've given you the analysis here. If n equal to minus 3, it is x of minus 1. If n equal to minus 2, it is x of 0. If n equal to minus 1, it is x of 1. See, they're all, so this is present, this is past. Present and past. This is future. So that means from here to here, if you have it, depends on future values of input. From here to here, if you have it, depends on present and past values of input. Understand? If n is minus 2, it becomes what? X of 0. Understand that? So in that sense, we can say this. Okay. You can just give the reasons. If n is minus 2 to, but it says if n is infinity, we can say, right? If it takes, anyways, it goes from minus infinity to plus infinity. N can even take infinity value. Okay. So if n is minus 2 to infinity, okay, the system is causal. Okay. And if n takes the value from minus infinity to minus 3, the system is non-causal. So this is how one needs to do the analysis. Fine. So you just learn this yourself, because when I explain you, it will not be, I've explained you, but I don't know how much clear it is to you. Fine. Spend some time on this problem. You'll understand. Except this, there will not be much problem. Okay. So time invariance is what? Time invariance. So it is not, it is time invariant, because you have plus 2, right? X of n plus something, if you do here, that will happen here also. So it is a time invariant. Okay. So it will not vary with time. Understand that? And well, this is time invariant. Let me tell you. You can check this if you want. Time invariant. Okay. Fourth one is what? Memory less or not. Okay. It depends on past as well as future values of, right? So it can even be non-causal. So it has memory. Has memory. Okay. Therefore, the system is dynamic. It depends on, see here, depends on past as well as on future values of input. Fine. So fifth one is stable or not? It is. Is it stable or unstable is the question. Okay. See here, as long as we are not multiplying, we are not scaling the amplitude. As long as we are not scaling the amplitude, we're just summing up the signal. We're summing up different samples. Okay. So this will never give you, we are not adding the samples with one another. We are adding the signal. Understand that? So you will have multiple samples. from minus infinity to plus infinity, you will have multiple samples like this of different height maybe. Okay, but the samples will never grow to infinity because x of n is not infinite. Understand? So in that sense, it is Bibo stable. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is in the assignment, this is an assignment to you. Okay. So the last three problems that I have solved, or the of 8th, 7th, 6th, wherever I have not given the what reasoning, so that you will take for assignment, and you will give the reason and do this as assignment. Okay, maybe I'll post that assignment in Google Classroom. Okay, and I had given you an assignment on signals and systems, that signals rather, the first module. Okay, so that is supposed to be submitted on Saturday. I had not given you time for that. Okay, so I'm just telling you now, you have to submit that on Saturday. Okay, and along with that, this also should be submitted on Saturday. Understand? Fine. So this is end of the properties.